Hello everyone, how's it going? Elliot's here again. In today's video, we're going to be having a look at a new 3DS. I've had this for a little while and I've never bothered trying to really repair it. I've taken it apart and tested some of the contacts. I bought it whilst I was away in France on eBay, the French eBay, and I think it was around 40 euros and it came boxed, and it's the Dragon Ball Z Extreme edition. So I don't know if that's like a fancy one or a rare one, but it looked pretty cool to me, so I picked it up. And also I really like the size of these smaller 3DSs, and you get a much better picture from the screen as well because the games are playing at like their native resolution. So really nice little device. I just couldn't get it to work. Basically, it used to run off of the mains adapter when you had it plugged in, and the battery just, I don't know if the battery wasn't holding a charge, but whenever you plugged it off, whenever you took it out, it doesn't do anything. And even when you press the power switch, it just shows no signs of life whatsoever. When I did have it up and running, plugged in on the mains, I reset the thing and tried to go through the setup, and the 3D slider wasn't working. One of the things you have to do in the setup is turn the 3D fully on, and I couldn't get that to work. But now it doesn't do anything at all. When I plug it in, I get an orange light, but nothing. I had a little look and I was recommended this little PCB here, which is basically where the battery connects to. There's a couple of fuses and a little chip on there. I picked up this for about £10 and I thought, let's have a little go at fixing it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But a lot of you people do actually enjoy watching people trying to fix things. Like my mate Vince, for example, claims that he's not very good, or he's not an expert at repairing and refurbishing, but he makes videos called Trying to Fix, and I respect that. So this is what this is. This is a trying to fix 3DS, new 3DS, by putting a new board in it. Let's see what happens. So the first thing I'm going to do is start by taking it apart. Now I'm not sure if these things have like inherent battery problems, and it might actually be the battery I need to replace, but I have a lot of trouble getting batteries into where I live. I live on an island and there's a lot of regulations about that kind of stuff. As far as I know, repairing or trying to repair any 3DS or DS past like the DSi XL, it's very difficult to actually repair. There's a lot of different ribbon cables and connectors and stuff that you need to be wary of. So I'm not going to be too surprised if I find this a little bit too tricky, but as I mentioned, I haven't really got anything to lose by having a go at this. This hasn't worked since I've owned it, so there's nothing that I'm losing by just giving it a bash. Quick tip, when you do DSs, there's always ribbon cables attached to the back. So when you lift it up, just do it very carefully, because you can never be too sure how many ribbon cables are going to be under here unless you've seen like videos before and everything. And even then, it's hard to grasp just how tight all the ribbon cables are. So just very carefully lift it up, and I can feel some pulling on the bottom, so that I can see a couple ribbon cables just down here. Go ahead and disconnect those, and then there's a couple on the top as well, you can see them there. Disconnect those, and they're just kind of like Lego brick connectors, so it's quite easy to pull off. So there you go. I've kept all the screws in the shell, so I'm just going to set that to the side. And here is the board that we're actually going to be replacing, and the replacement looks to be absolutely the same, so that's good. So there's a little ribbon cable here. I'm just going to lift up that flap and pull that off very gently. We've also got a little connector here which just seems to pull out as well, which is okay. And then I think the rest of it is just some Phillips screws. So let's go ahead and undo these little Phillips screws just here. Remember to keep all of your screws separate as well, because there's a good chance they're all going to be very different. Okay, let's lift this board off, and what have we got here? Okay, it's a little ribbon cable for the joystick, the little nubby joystick thing, which just pops off like that. Okay, brilliant, right. This ribbon here doesn't appear to be hard connected on, so you're going to need to keep that one and replace that on the board that we're taking out. So let's do that now. Here's our replacement board. Okay, and let's put that back in. If this works, I'll be very, very, very happy, of course. But if not, then it'll be back to the drawing board, and maybe some of you can give me some suggestions of what you think it could be. Pop that back in there. Okay, and then this little cable here needs to slot back onto there. Okay, happy days. I really do enjoy these little trial and error videos, and I think it's quite educational for a lot of people. And also, if you have the same problem, then this can maybe answer your question, because obviously you're going to have to go through this anyway if you were trying to fix this problem. And we'll just slot this all back down. I'm just going to do these screws up again, because there's nothing that taking this apart again is going to do, because everything is sat in there perfectly. All right, moment of truth. Let's pop that back in, open it up, and try and turn it on. Absolutely nothing. Okay, so I have a bit of a crazy update for you. Basically, the power switch just wasn't feeling right at all, and I thought, I've got nothing to lose by taking it apart again and just having a quick look at the power switch, and I did do this off camera. The power switch is actually one of these little buttons here, which is very similar to the ones that you see on like the SPs and pretty much most modern motherboards now. They're not really micro switches. I don't really know what they are, but anyway, I just thought I'd pull that out, leave it on the outside of the console, and try and turn it on, and would you believe it, it bloody turns on. So I'm not sure if this board replacing this did work or not, but for whatever reason, this is actually now working. You can probably see the screen flickering a bit weirdly on there. The 3D slider, sorry, doesn't do anything. So I can't progress in this menu because the 3D slider isn't working properly. So what I'm going to try and do, as a little bit of a trial and error for this again, I'm going to put this back together, try and get the power switch to actually work inside the console, because obviously we want that on the inside, we don't want it hanging out. And then I'm going to take apart the top screen and see if we can have a look at the 3D slider and see if we can get that to working, because potentially that could just be an isopropyl jobby, or maybe just reflow the solder on the contacts. Or maybe I can try and find a replacement ribbon cable for that, and then we can see how we get on. But, oh my God, this thing is actually now turning on. Hooray! Okay, so the power switch is now working on the inside of the console, which is bloody relieving. Okay, I'm so happy that we've gotten this thing doing something, because for so long it was just sat there doing absolutely nothing at all, and now it is actually competently turning on and off on every single time. So that is brilliant. We still haven't got any button functionality, but as I mentioned, that could be because we're on this settings thing. So now we need to try and tackle the 3D slider issue, and I'm not entirely sure how to go about taking this apart. So let's see what lies underneath. Okay, so we've got four screws there and 2 on the front. Now I'm not sure if I've already tried this. I may have done, but there's no harm in trying it again. I don't think when I tried it in France that I had any isopropyl alcohol. I think I just bought like a really, really cheap screwdriver kit from a supermarket and had a go. Right, okay, so we're separating these 2 bits of plastic now. Not sure what's going to go where, so I'm a little bit scared. That lifts up like so. 3D slider is over here, and there's a screw holding it down. Okay, so this is the 3D slider here. Now, if I lift that up, it's also got the speaker connected to it. So the whole thing is on a ribbon cable, and yeah, there it is. Okay, so what I'm going to do is get some isopropyl alcohol and my soldering iron. We're going to give the inside of the slider a bit of isopropyl, and I'll give the contacts around the outside a touch over with the soldering iron. And actually, what I want to do before I bother going any further with this is see if the volume slider works, because if the volume slider doesn't work, then maybe, because they're connected together, maybe the ribbon cable is not actually doing anything, although we're definitely getting volume. So let's just have a quick look and see if the volume slider does anything. Okay, yeah, volume slider works fine. And we'll give it a little press down there. Slide that down. Okay. Right, all good. And we'll put that one little screw back in there. Okay, and let's flip it up. Oh God, everything's falling apart. Maybe I should put the back on here again. Here we go. Moment of truth. Turn it on. Power light is still coming on. This is good. No, it's definitely not worked still. Ah, bugger. Okay, so not a complete fail. We've actually got the 3DS working now, which is very, very good. I'm going to have to order some more parts. We know that the volume slider works, but the 3D slider is just not working at all. I'm getting sound out of both speakers, and the speaker connects to the 3D slider. That ribbon cable is all completely joined together. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is order a new ribbon cable, and we'll put all of that in. Hopefully that will arrive quite soon. I know that taking those ribbon cables out is going to be quite tricky, but we'll give it a go. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.